Sounds like a plan.
Thanks.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll get right into it this morning. And go ahead and do that. Share. All right, so what is happening in real estate? Things are really hopping. I kind of knew this was going to happen. Every single person that I've worked with over the last 2 years that hasn't decided to purchase a home, that has been in the pre-qualification process and went on hold, I kid you not, almost all of them are back in the game or saying they're going to be back in the game in the next couple months. So dust off those old customers that you've been talking to, go into your CRM or your database, wherever you are communicating with them, because they are starting to hit the road. I honestly believe that they figured out that, well, I guess this is the new normal. And I guess we just have to move forward. So here we are, and we're in mortgage in the year 2023. And all of these states in the tan are states that I do loans in. So just want to remind you guys, I do loans in every single one of these states except for New York and Hawaii. So we are nationwide. So if you have any friends, family, anyone out there, would love the referral. And we have people all over the countryside to help us facilitate that as far as the rules and regulations for each state, but I can manage that for everybody. So some bad news. I'm going to start with the bad news of what's going on in the industry. You may have heard that the credit agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, are raising their overall fees. So what happens when they raise their fees? Well, guess what? It gets passed on to the consumer. That's just how life is. A very good example of how it gets passed on to the consumer was when I was at a restaurant this weekend, and they said, due to the raise in the minimum wage, we are now going to increase the bill by 13% as a fair wage adjustment. So basically, when things go up, guess what? They go up for everybody, which is unfortunate. So this is how inflation works, right? When one thing goes up, everything rises up, kind of like the tide raises all ships. So it's about $125 more in fees. Credit reports when you get a mortgage are usually between the 25 and 80, depending on what needs to be done. So expect more fees in that arena, which is never a good thing. So I'm going to start with the bad news first, and then we're going to go with the good news. So the next bad news is, oh wait, there isn't any other bad news. That's a good thing. So it's all good news moving forward here. And I want to make sure you guys are staying positive, because honestly, the psychology of the buyer is changing. It's changed, I think, a lot for the better. I'm seeing it. Everyone around me in the mortgage industry is starting to see it. People in real estate are starting to see it. So let's all stay positive and move forward. Here's the first positive thing. The cost for mortgages is changing. They're called loan level pricing adjustments. You may have heard this. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are changing the costs associated with mortgages. So if it's in the green, that means it's getting a lot better. So as you look down here for somebody in the lower, on the left-hand column, it's the credit scores. So if somebody has below a 660 credit score, this is for conventional loans only. They have changed the overall loan level adjustments. So you know how if you have a lower credit score, your rate's higher. Remember, rates never change. It's just the costs go up. So you have to just go higher on the rate scale to try to find something at 0 points, right? So in this case, at 660, if you go all the way across to 5% down, they're lowering the fees by 1 full discount point. So 100 basis points cheaper to get that today. Now, if you have a 630 credit score and you're doing the same loan, it's 175 basis points cheaper. Well, they're not just going to make everything cheaper and say that's just how things are going to be. Look what they're doing. They're making it a little bit more expensive for that middle tier borrower. It's 3/4 worse for that 720 to 760 borrower. And the red is where it got worse, and that's kind of paying for helping the lower end, because the reason I believe they're doing this is FHA is beating conventional on their lower credit score borrowers, because FHA has much lower rates. So they're trying to compete a little bit more with FHA, which is going to give our lower credit score borrowers a little bit better interest rates. But to cover the cost, guess what? They're charging it a little bit up here in this section. So that's the changes that are happening for mortgages. So if you had somebody that closed that had a lower credit score in the last 6 months, just because of this change, they may get a half to 3/4 better in rate because of these pricing adjustments by refinancing. So just something you may want to look at if you have somebody that had lower credit that had a pretty rough rate, it may be an opportunity to help them out here. But moving forward, it's going to be a little bit cheaper for them and a little bit lower interest rates moving forward for purchases. So the question that we are all talking about right now in the mortgage side when it comes to rates and when it comes to what we're seeing in the real estate market is, has the housing slump hit its bottom? That's the question that we need to kind of answer and really keep our eyes on, because a lot of the signs are showing that we may have already just hit it. So let's kind of look at some of the things that are positive that are causing us to think that. So first of all, pending sales are up. Signed contracts on existing homes for December were up 4%. And that was December. January numbers haven't come out yet that I have. So that'll probably be up quite a bit in January as well. January mortgage applications, guys, were up 30%. That is a big jump. So that means people are jumping back in. The holidays are behind them. The hangover of 2022 is behind them, and their psychology has shifted. So there's a lot of people that think that the slump has been reached. Now there's some doomsdayers out there that think that the market's still going to crash to levels like 2008. And those are the same people that decided to rent in 2020 because the market was going to crash. So yeah, they haven't been very correct lately. Inflation. Remember, I always talk about inflation as the enemy of mortgage rates. Inflation has come down. The PCE, which is the headline inflation, that has gone from 7 to 5%. Now, the feds are really trying hard to slow our economy down by raising the cost of doing business, cost of everything in life, right? Your home equity lines, your credit cards, all of that kind of stuff has gone up since the feds have been raising the interest rates on those. But inflation is coming down, so we're seeing that from 7 to 5. Now, core, which is the Fed's favorite, it strips out food and energy. It's down from 4.7 to 4.4 this month, so it's continuing to eke lower as well. So remember, lower inflation means lower mortgage rates. So this is really, really good news. Now, where are we? Remember I talked about the roller coaster, how we're still kind of coming up here on this side, and eventually the whole thing are going to start running down pretty fast on the other side of the roller coaster. The tail end is kind of still dragging us, and it's not letting us really jump down, but I'm going to show you something on the charts that's going to really help us see what's happening. So rates have dropped from 7.5 at their peak to the stabilizing. They've been in the sixes, in the low sixes for quite some time. They've actually been more stable now than they have been in a very long time, which sounds weird, but they've been in the low sixes for 3 to 4 weeks. So, you know, bouncing around a little bit in that arena, but expect rates to be in the 5s. Now, rates are already in the 5s for FHA and for some conventional loans. So we're right there, guys. We're right there. Here's what mortgage rates are doing today. So the average right now, 30-year fixed, right around the 6.2. I like to show this chart because it shows how dramatic the price spike was on mortgage rates. But we are coming back down, guys. We are coming back down. 15-year, we're in the low 5s. 30-year jumbo, we're in the high 5s. Jumbo is very unique. Most of these jumbos do have points associated with them. ARMs, look at that. ARMs are higher than a 30-year fixed. The inverted yield curve. It's that's telltale sign of a recession. Happens every time there is a recession. FHA, look at that, guys, in the 5s. And that's fantastic news as well. So that's where mortgage rates are right now. And this week, guys, is going to be a really big week. So the feds are talking. The feds will most likely be raising rates by 1/4. Now, as you know, they've been doing it by big chunks for quite some time now, and they're finally starting to ease back, because they're starting to see what's the ramifications of their rate hikes on the markets. So jobs are slowing down. The weird thing we have, in our economy, is we have a very small group of employees available for the jobs that are available. So our job pool is large, but the people to fill those jobs is very small. So our jobs market is actually pretty good. So our unemployment is low because so many people have just said, forget it, I'm no longer working at all. So it's weird because if you go places, like you go to restaurants, there's waits everywhere. And the problem is they just can't get enough employees. So we're in a recession, but those service industries are still really lagging. They need employees, which is strange, but they're not going to hire because the cost of business. And like the restaurant I was just at that added you should see it, I have a picture of it, 13% surcharge on top of our total bill because of the minimum wage rates for employments had gone up and they can't afford it. So they now have to charge the consumer more. Typical telltale sign of inflation. But other central banks around the globe are also raising interest rates. So we have to keep really an eye on that too. The jobs report is coming out this week. And I'm going to go over the technicals on the 10-year and the 30-year bonds to kind of show where we're at. And this is where I think we're going to be in for some good news. So let's jump into that. Now, remember, guys, this is how the mortgage rates change. They're based on the yields of the 30-year Fannie Mae bond. Okay. So the green is positive. So we've had literally almost every day we open low and we come back positive. So on this, we opened down here, we came up. We opened down, we came up and then ended up positive, but we're in this range. But what I want to show you is these lines right here. This right here is the 25-day moving average. And we have here the 50-day moving average. They're right now coming to create a double floor. This is going to be a very strong floor. So the odds of it going through here and rates getting worse is low. The odds of it coming above here in this 50-day going up here and us continuing seeing the bond market improving the odds are high. So when we're seeing like, should I lock my rate today? When you see stochastics like this, or when we see the different the moving averages coming together, that's a really, really good sign for us to continue to climb upward. Here's the 10-year. We have all sorts of things happening here. Look at the 100-day moving average. We've got the 50-day moving average. We've got the 25-day moving average and a Fibonacci level right here. So this is like the Great Wall of China. Nobody's getting through this thing very easily. So that's a good thing. We want this 10-year this week to bounce off here and continue to drop. So if we can get this might sound silly, but if we can get a 10-year bond in the twos, we will be in a really good position. And the twos is down here. So this is the 3. People are saying that by the end of the year, the 10-year will be with a 2 handle. What they mean by that, the rate will start with a 2. So that means we have to drop another 50 basis points to 60 basis points to get there. And remember, the 10-year and the 30-year, they kind of track each other. So we should be in for some really good rates coming up pretty soon here, guys. So all good news, excited about that. And I want you guys to know this. This is a little... Feel free to screenshot this if you want, but I can email it to you if you want. Any loans that are closed this year, if they're closed at higher interest rates, if rates do drop, we are refinancing all of our customers with no lender fees. So I want you guys to know this. We are refinancing anyone that closes this year at a higher rate. We are refinancing them with no lender fees. So we're almost setting up a 2-for-1 mortgage type of a plan. So right now they're buying a home, they're purchasing a home, right? And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a secondary refinance option for them, knowing that rates will drop, to give them a second look at where their rates could potentially be based on what the predictions are for the market. So we're going to give them, okay, if you want to do a 2-1 buy down and the sellers are willing to pay for that now, great. When you refinance in 6 months, when rates hit 5.25, let's hope they do. Don't quote me on that. Then we're going to go ahead and do that. And then any remaining savings you would have had will reduce your principal by that amount. So it's a twofold process right now. And it's going to be a really good strategy to help your buyers as well, to really have that psychology of, okay, I'm buying now, I shouldn't wait because I could just refinance and he's going to do it for no charge. And that makes sense. So it's going to be, I think, a pretty good 6 months. I think this year is going to be decent. I think it's a normal market. I think if you look at 2019 numbers where we were before the great pandemic, and the great real estate boom, we're kind of similar. We're on track. So yes, and my daughter's boyfriend in North Carolina, I'll give him, yes, absolutely. I do want an email of it. Yes, I'll email this to you guys. And just to let you guys know, we have access to almost every loan product in the country. A lot of questions on, do we offer down payment assistance? The answer is yes, but down payment assistance programs aren't that attractive. They are like a worst case scenario. So if there's opportunity to get a gift from a family member, you're always going to have a tremendous, a ridiculously better set of terms doing it that way than doing the down payment assistance. However, if you don't have anybody that's available to help you, they are still available. We have all the 3% down conventional. We've got FHA. We've got a lot of portfolio products because we're a broker and a mortgage banker, and we have a partner of a bank. Really, we have a lot. So any scenarios that you have, let me chat with the buyers. I mean, we have doctor's loans. We have that 0 down up to $1 million program. It's actually $975 loan amount up to on that wealth builder program. Really popular. So lots of really creative stuff for us. And I'm here to help you guys kind of strategize with your customers and get them behind the or into the buyer's seat again. So any questions you guys have on what's happening with rates and the markets, I'd be curious to see if you guys are seeing the same thing as I am with the markets picking up.
I was just at the, Cromford report with Tina Tambor, and y'all know her. Yeah, things are definitely looking up. Things, the market's changing in the positive. You're right. Buyers are coming back.
Yep. I really think it is a big psychological shift for them. They're literally saying, dang it, I missed the boat. I didn't buy when rates were in the 2s or 3s. I should have. When rates hit 4, I waited because I thought they'd come back down. I didn't listen to Sean. And dang it, I wish I would have, but I guess I need a home. So, all right, let's go out and let's buy what I can afford now. And people are just swallowing that pill and moving forward. So we all knew it would happen. We didn't know the timing of it, but we're in that position now. So I think you're going to have a lot of success at open houses. I think you're going to have a lot of success calling all of your customers that may have been on the fence, and just let them know that if they do buy now and rates do drop, there's an opportunity to take advantage of that with no lender fees on a refinance as well. And we could still get some concessions from sellers right now. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen in March, because literally half my database says we're going to buy in March. And that's, guess what? That's coming up really quickly. And I'm seeing it happen because over the weekend, we said a lot of people say, okay, I want to refresh my pre-qual. Thank you for keeping in touch with me, yada, yada. So it's exciting. I don't know, Heidi, she's been busy working on our pre-qualifications, getting them updated as well on my team. And so if you guys need us, we are here for you. And I'll be here on the calls to answer any more questions that you guys may have. But super exciting. Any closing questions as we move on this week? All right, well, I'll just hang out here, and if you guys have any, then I'll be on the call. Otherwise, have a phenomenal week, guys, and we will be in touch. All right, John and Frankie, have a great day, guys. We'll talk to you soon.